Today we are going to discuss a novel by Hardy that is A Pair of Blue Eyes. Dear students, please share, and subscribe the channel. A Pair of Blue Eyes by Thomas Hardy, published in 1873, is a novel that intricately weaves themes of love, social expectations, and fate, exploring the complexities of Victorian society through the love triangle between Elfride Swancourt, Stephen Smith, and Henry Knight. It is known for its introspective depth and Hardy's remarkable ability to capture the conflict between social classes and personal desires. The story is set in a small coastal village in England, where Elfride Swancourt, a young and spirited woman, lives with her father, a clergyman. Elfride is charming, intelligent, and often torn between her feelings and societal expectations. She first meets Stephen Smith, a young architect's assistant who is there to work on restoring her father's church. Despite their different social standings, they fall in love, and Hardy explores their relationship as a blend of youthful passion and naivete. Elfride's inexperience in love and Stephen's ambitions form the foundation of their initial connection. However, Stephen's low social status becomes an obstacle in their relationship, highlighting the rigid class distinctions of Victorian society. Elfride's father, despite having affection for Stephen, is firm in his disapproval of the relationship, due to Stephen's modest social background. As Stephen realizes that he cannot win Elfride's father's approval, he decides to travel to India to seek his fortune and elevate his social standing, promising to return for Elfride. His absence sets off a period of doubt and emotional turmoil for Elfride, who is left to grapple with the uncertainty of her love for him. During this time, she meets Henry Knight, a respected older man, intellectual, and friend of her father, whose worldly sophistication contrasts sharply with Stephen's youthful fervor. Knight becomes Elfride's mentor, and their intellectual bond soon blossoms into something more. Elfride is drawn to his wisdom and refinement, and he sees her as a pure, innocent figure, largely unaware of her past relationship with Stephen. Elfride's dilemma intensifies as she is caught between her loyalty to Stephen and her budding admiration for Knight. When Stephen unexpectedly returns from his travels, she faces the difficult choice of whom to marry, torn between passion and respectability. Hardy uses this love triangle to highlight Elfride's inner conflict between societal expectations and personal happiness. Her indecisiveness and naivete lead her to inadvertently mislead both men, whose different reactions reflect their own complex personalities, Stephen's unrelenting devotion and Knight's struggle between idealism and reality. A pivotal and famously suspenseful scene in the novel occurs when Elfride and Knight go for a walk along a cliff, and Knight nearly falls to his death. Elfride saves him, yet this moment foreshadows the instability of their relationship and the destructive force of fate. The experience leaves Knight with a sense of indebtedness and vulnerability, which reshapes his view of Elfride but does not prevent him from idealizing her. When he eventually learns about her past with Stephen, he is devastated, viewing her as tainted and less virtuous than he had imagined. This revelation shatters his romanticized image of her, underscoring the Victorian ideal of purity and the unrealistic expectations placed on women. Hardy delves into the themes of class conflict, the hypocrisy of societal expectations, and the fragility of human relationships. The novel captures the pain of disillusionment as well as the struggle for self-acceptance and forgiveness. Elfride's character symbolizes the consequences of repression and society's rigid moral demands. She is portrayed sympathetically, though Hardy does not shy away from showing her flaws and mistakes, which make her a tragic figure. Ultimately, she is a victim of societal norms, her limited choices, and her own inexperience. Her tragic death underscores Hardy's fatalistic view of life, showing how rigid expectations and human frailty often end in heartbreak. Hardy's descriptive language is rich, vividly depicting the Cornish landscape and coastal settings, which add a sense of melancholy and isolation to the story. His use of symbolism, particularly with the imagery of the cliffs, emphasizes the fragility of life and relationships. The novel's somber ending, along with its exploration of the flawed nature of love and society's impact on individual choices, foreshadows Hardy's later, more mature works, like Tess of the D'Urbervilles and Jude the Obscure, where he further examines social injustice and moral hypocrisy. In sum, A Pair of Blue Eyes is a deeply moving novel that reveals Hardy's talent for portraying the internal and external conflicts of his characters, and it raises timeless questions about love, societal constraints, and personal identity. Elfride's story serves as a poignant reminder of the tragedy that can arise when love is stifled by social conventions and personal weaknesses, making the novel a classic exploration of human vulnerability. Analysis: Hardy's novel is both a romance and a social commentary. He scrutinizes the rigid class structures of Victorian England, using the characters' relationships to expose the consequences of such societal constraints. Elfride's journey reflects Hardy's empathy for women caught between personal freedom and social expectations. Her beauty and vulnerability are symbolized by her blue eyes, which reflect both innocence and allure. The novel also features Hardy's characteristic Wessex landscapes, infusing the story with rich descriptions of the rural countryside. This natural imagery serves to underscore the characters' inner lives, creating a sense of fate and foreboding. In one of the novel's most famous scenes, Henry Knight clings to a cliffside while Elfride attempts to rescue him, symbolizing the precarious balance of their relationship and the broader theme of human vulnerability. Hardy's nuanced depiction of Elfride's struggles and conflicting emotions makes A Pair of Blue Eyes an early examination of the complexities of female autonomy and romantic ideals within the confines of Victorian norms. Ultimately, Hardy's novel anticipates the tragic themes he would explore in later works like Tess of the D'Urbervilles and Jude the Obscure, presenting a bittersweet view of love as a force that both elevates and devastates. Thanks for listening.